What's going on, guys? Today we got a rusted and busted wheel stud we're gonna be replacing on the WRX. I replaced a stud a while back on the front, but now it's time to replace a stud on the rear, and there's a couple extra steps that you're gonna need to take. I'm gonna need to take, so I'm gonna kind of show you guys what to do. Hopefully I know what to do. Sometimes I figure it out on the fly, but shouldn't be too hard. Got a couple helpful tools I'm gonna be using. We got the Harley torn apart, we got all kinds of gaskets and stuff. We're doing a top end rebuild on that thing, but that is another day. Here's a couple tools I'm using. Got a 19mm socket, we got a, what is this, a 17mm socket. This is the one for the calipers to remove those. Impact driver is optional, but will make your life a lot easier. This one's got some decent torque on it, XWT15. We got this cool Lisley, whatever, however you say that. Cool little wheel stud installer tool that I got. Got another wheel stud. Picked this up at AutoZone. I got it at O'Reilly's, wherever. Number on here says ABN 10.9566. Just your standard 12 by 1.25, 12mm by 1.25 lug nuts to match your 12 by 1.25 stud. So yeah, everything will be linked in the description, so don't worry about that. I also have open-end ratcheting wrench, optional, but does make your life a little easier as well. And yeah, take a look at the damaged stud. As you can see, this one's been exposed for quite some time. It was actually a tire shop that stripped the stud pretty good. It was already too late. I mean, I didn't discover it till like months later when I went to remove the tire. But anyways, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna get this all figured out and replaced. So first things first, before we jack it up, I'm just gonna break the lug nuts free. My lug nuts are 19mm. It's always a good habit to chalk the opposite wheel. So I'm gonna chalk the front right tire because I'm jacking up the back left. Definitely recommended so your car doesn't move or anything, and it's pretty secure. You can also put the car in gear, e-brake on, of course. I'm actually gonna put the car in gear now. Just put the car in gear. First gear. We are gonna need to release the e-brake at some point so we can get this rotor off. I got this awesome little cross tool. I believe I got it on Amazon, but it has all sorts of sizes, pretty much for all applications. So we're just gonna crack these loose. Okay, everything's broke free. Time to jack her up. I like to get a little safety jack under here. I like to if I can. Now we don't want to work too hard, so I'm gonna bust out my old impact here. Voila, it is off. Alright, so I just got it jacked up here. Got my safety jack stand under there. Next we're going to be removing the caliper. We got, what are they, 17mm bolts on the backside here. We're going to go ahead and break those babies free. Get that caliper out of the way. Wow, look at this coilover, man. I have not seen these in a long time. These things are real crusty. Alright, time to go after those 14mm bolts here. Go for the top one first. Hopefully they're not too tight. Wishful thinking. They're super duper tight, I gotta say. Alright, got that one broke free. There's the first bolt. There's a shot of the rear bolt right there. We're gonna remove that one as well, and the caliper should be free. Okay, bolt number 2 out. Oh, almost lost the camera. Okie dokie. Slide this baby off. And that's how you remove the caliper. Look how dinky these brake pads are. These things are like half the size of my fronts. And it has 2 less pistons than my front brakes as well. These are little dinky boys. And the rotor thickness as well, it's a lot skinnier. So we're gonna safely tuck this somewhere. Sometimes I like to zip tie it nearby, but if I can have it secure enough, like right here, I don't think it's going anywhere. Now let's see if this rotor is gonna be loose enough to come off, which it won't be because we're gonna need to release the e-brake. Once we release the e-brake, this thing should loosen up. We should be able to get it off. And there we have it. Dang, these brake shoes are all torn up. And that's where your e-brake pads are hiding. Alright, once we got the rotor off, we're gonna need to somehow find a way to get the old stud out and the new stud in. So here's a look at the bottom. You can see there's a little gap here where we can maybe finagle a stud in and out. But it looks like we're gonna have to remove this little spring to your e-brake assembly. The little piece bolted to the back of the hub is actually part of your ABS system. So what we're gonna need to do is break these little Allen heads free, and maybe we'll get some wiggle room out of this piece here, which will allow us to finagle the stud out and put the new stud in. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. It's actually gonna be a 5mm Allen head here. Ow! Try not to smash your finger against the other stud there. Thankfully those aren't too tight. Oh, they're not that long either. Little small guys here, little chubs. Not sure if this matters or not, but I'm going to mark the orientation just so I put it back exactly the same way that I took it apart, and there won't be any issues down the road. How is that battery dead? Come on. Come on, you're killing me. Alright, we got that little piece loose. Now let's see. Probably should rotate the bad stud to the bottom because that's the way it's gonna be removed. Let's see if I can put this back in real quick. I'm just gonna put in 2 just to secure it. That way I can rotate. I like how I'm just figuring this out on the fly. Like I know everything, but I really don't. I'm just learning just like everybody else. Now, let's attempt to remove the spring down below. Well, I kind of did this prematurely. Okay, so I just broke the spring free. I just used a little pick here and basically just pulled it back and it released from this little notch here. So hopefully that'll be enough to do what I need to do. Stay tuned. This is the spring that I already unsprung. So that's just gonna hang out down here. Now, let's see if this is gonna work. To get enough clearance, I'm gonna lift this piece up, bang the stud out, and we should have a free stud. The next thing to do is to start hammering. See what happens. I need a bigger hammer. There we go. That didn't take much effort. May have woke the neighborhood up, but other than that, we are free. Stud is free. All we gotta do is lift this little disc up. It should finagle out, hopefully, past that little spring there. Easier said than done, of course. Take a little finessing to get it out. Might need 2 hands to work this baby out. Technical difficulties here. Alright, it's a struggle. We're struggling out here. Sure, there's a way to do it. This seems like a waste of time, but it looks like I did end up getting it. It does finagle out, but that was kind of a struggle, and I'm afraid the new one's gonna be a little longer, so the struggle is gonna be even more intense, but it does come out that way. Well, thankfully, I think the new one's like maybe a thread longer. Should be able to finesse this in there, but at this point, I think it's easier just to remove the e-brake shoe assembly. That way you can just slide it in, but I'm gonna try to get it in the way that I took it out, so wish me luck. Out with the old and in with the new. See what happens when we try to get this wheel stud back in there. So I guess I'll go with the head first. Slide her up in there, see what happens. Like I said, it'd probably be better if I just took off the e-brake assembly at this point, but I want to show myself, see if it's possible. Oh, look at that, lining up. Ooh, we're getting close here, boys. Oops. Oops. Oop. Very delicate, very tricky. I don't know why I'm struggling with this. I should just do it the other way, but like I said, I want to believe in myself. What are we stuck on? Oh, how the fuck? Okay, let's see. We are close. We are there. We made it. We made it. It was a struggle, but it is possible. I don't know if I would recommend doing it this way. I think next time I'll just remove my e-brake shoe, but just had to prove to myself and you guys that it is possible. It's like we skipped a step to make it take 10 times longer when we could have just removed the e-brake shoe and been done 10 minutes ago. That's what you call a long cut, I'd say. Anyways, the new stud's in. Let's go on ahead and get it into place. I'll show you guys the procedure on that. Alright, time to bust out our cool little wheel stud installer. It's a little helpful tool, got it on Amazon. We also got a set of lug nuts we're going to be using. Pick these up at AutoZone. Like I said before, 12 by 1.25. So basically all we're going to do is place this over the new stud, bearing side down, like that. Go on ahead and thread on our lug nut. That right there is the tool and lug nut ready to be impacted on. I'm going to be using my cool little Makita impact driver. Gonna make my life easier. I've done it the old-fashioned way plenty of times. I actually have another video. I did my front wheel stud years ago, so I'll go ahead and link that up above. So check that out, see the way I did it, see my mistakes and what not to do. So I went on ahead and upped my game and got this cool little tool to help me. So hopefully it's gonna go smooth. Stay tuned to find out. Okay, here we go. Got it on full impact mode, 19mm socket. Gonna go on ahead and work the stud on. Going slow to make sure everything is square. We're just working it on until we get a nice flush head on the backside. We are just about there. Gonna do a couple more for good luck here. And voila. New wheel stud is installed. This tool really is the most genius thing ever. Keeps everything square. Nothing's gonna be stripping, cross-threading. Nice little bearing on the backside helps out. And yeah, it pretty much did everything that I expected. Right on. Let's get this thing backed off and I'll show you the final product. Yeehaw. Okay, just like that. You did me well. You did me well. Nice and secure in there, nice and shiny, looking good. But yeah, highly recommend this thing. This thing's awesome. If you're gonna be doing a lot of wheel stud and replacements and whatnot, I just had to have it. It really does save a lot of time. And not to mention this bad boy too, this Makita. This thing's badass. We got an XWT15. It's not the biggest and it's not the smallest, but it does the job, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. All right, we're almost ready to wrap this job up. I'm just gonna throw the screws back in. Come on now. Line up, get in your hole, bitches. Bada bing, bada boom. It'll be like this now. Thank God everything went according to plan. That's usually not the case when working on cars. There's always something that goes wrong, but I'm not gonna jinx myself because I'm not really done yet. Give these a nice little torquer. Go in a star pattern just to appease everybody. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more little torque for good luck here. Righteous. All right, let's get this spring back in. Where'd you go with all that commotion? Here we go. We gotta put this spring back. Just be sure to put back this little piece that may have fallen off. Basically just put it in between the two shoes, kind of spread them apart. Each of these notches on each side will go on here, on there. That piece is held in by the spring that we removed, so that's why it fell out. As you can see, it just kind of slips right into the notches. Donde está mi spring? Again, there's not too much spring tension on this. So let's see if we can get it back in place with my little hook skiddy here. Voila, there we go. Everything should be back to normal. We didn't mess with any of the e-brake adjustment, this little screw here. Other than that, I think it's time to put the rotor back on, bolt the caliper back on, and I think this job is coming to a close. Wiggle this thing on, right onto the shoes. Did the piston compress at all? Nope, we are good on that too. We're able to slide that right on. Just gonna get these two 14mm bolts back in. Consult your user manual for any torque specs. Do the old German torque spec, good and tight. There we go. Whew, that wasn't so bad. I wish I had some more to replace. That's how fun it was. Don't forget about your trusty jack stand. Yeah, buddy. E-brake's off. Almost got away. Make sure the e-brake's back on and it's in gear before lowering it down. Alright, let's give it the old torque wrench. Big Daddy torque wrench. Going 80 foot-pounds on this lug nut here. Here we go. Job well done. I guess that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. The job is done. Nothing more to do. We are done. That's a wrap. No more. That's it. I knew what I needed to get done and I got it done in a pretty quick manner, I'd say. But what really helped me out was the tools that I was using. Saves you a lot of headaches, a lot of, you know, cuss words. It'll just all around save you time and get the job done a little quicker. An impact driver is very nice to have, but again, you don't need it. You can get the job done with the good old elbow grease, but you know, I've been there, done that, and I decided to get myself a nice impact driver that would do the job. I guess enough rambling. I'm gonna wrap this video up. Thanks for watching, thanks for checking it out, thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, whatever you guys do, it helps the channel out. Just another day, me hanging out in the garage, figuring out stuff to do to the Subaru, and create some videos for you guys. So I'm gonna be tackling an AC issue that I've been having, so stay tuned for that video. Hopefully I can get it fixed before the summer heat comes, and yeah. You guys take it easy. I'll see you next time. Later.